So today we had a solar eclipse, and I actually had no intention of waking up for that and going and shooting that. But as things turned out, I did, and that is what I will share here as to what I did and how. As always, I will try to avoid tech and math, as all of that can be found on the net already. We will just look at what I did and how. You can take some cues from there for your own future ventures. So before we get into the actual method of how I photographed the solar eclipse today, first let us look at the logic behind using ND or solar filters and solar glasses. Well, looking directly into the sun is not recommended anyway for a variety of reasons. There are times when we just move out of our homes and look up at the sky to adjust our eyes to the light a bit faster. A passing glance at the sun is okay, not looking directly at it. That can cause damage. This is where the solar glasses come in. These are available online from a variety of sites and should be used if you want to take a look at the eclipse. Do not try to look at the eclipse with the naked eye. Now let's look at what is required for the cameras. There are two recommendations for that. One is neutral density or ND filters, which cut light out substantially depending on the rating, and specifically made solar filters, which come in shape of screw-on filters or films that you can put onto telescopes or camera lenses. And this also cuts off light and UV and a bit of IR, and that comes in to the camera. In general, most people recommend solar filters over ND filters, and I have neither, so I cannot really comment on those. I had neither glasses nor the filters because, like I mentioned, I did not imagine waking up in time for the eclipse anyway, so I did not even bother to order those. For some reason, I woke up a bit earlier than usual today, and since I had no intention of shooting the eclipse, I just took it easy till some friends of mine and some others started sharing eclipse shots on social media. And then I said, okay, let me also take a shot and see what happens. But like I said, I had no filters and no glasses for the eyes. So I was more concerned about the eyes because the camera I was okay with. I thought over that and came up with an idea and went to the roof to take shots of the eclipse. It was a cloudy day, and I don't think very many people got clean enough shots because of the clouds. So while I was waiting for the clouds to clear up a bit, at least let the sun be visible somewhat, I just set up my camera for the exposure I thought would be correct. So initially I set the shutter speed to the maximum I have on the D850, and actually even the 7500 as the same, 8,000th of a second. I left the aperture wide open at f5.6, that's for my 200-500 lens, and the ISO I pushed down to the base native of 64. And then of course I set up bracketing for 7 shots initially, and later I changed that to 9 just in case I missed out something. And generally I use AFC priority in the focus mode, which I've also discussed in an earlier video, because there's no point shooting subjects when the camera does not even have focus. So that's one thing that I changed back to release, which is the default, because from experience I already know when I shoot skies for backgrounds and stuff, the focus generally does not lock most of the time on clouds. So AFC went back to focus. The other settings, as I already mentioned, since it was still cloudy and the sun was not visible, I just focused onto the clouds where I could get a normal AF lock instead of trying to set the focus to infinity manually, because after a certain length the lens will be at infinity and it can go beyond. So I just wanted to have a better focus and used AF for that. So now I was just waiting for the sun to appear. But the most important part was the eyes. How do I protect my eyes when I am looking through the viewfinder? Yes, I use the viewfinder and no tripod. These shots are handheld as almost all of my shots. Just normally as you would shoot any other subject. The major difference was how I looked through the viewfinder. So once the clouds cleared a bit from the sun, I looked through the viewfinder at an area just away from the sun, which is like shooting any normal sky. Then I started moving the camera towards the sun, and the moment the light got brighter in the viewfinder, I half shut my eye and looked down instead of straight through the viewfinder, since I could sense the light through my half shut eye. The moment it was bright enough to feel, so to speak, I released the shutter for the bracketing of the first shot. Now as we can see here, this is the first lot and reasonably overexposed. The settings are displayed here. But instead of looking at these in Lightroom, let's switch over to ON1, because here we have this critical information piece which is absent in Lightroom. So before we run into these, I'll just go through what I did. This was the first one which I've already dealt with. Then I stopped down to f16, f18 and finally at f32, which is the max for the lens that I was using, and 9 bracketing shots. Bracketing is always safer when light is varying fast enough, like in this case the clouds are just coming and going across. So bracketing gives you that margin of error easily. So these, now we have the settings here and here. This is 1/8000 at f5.6, base ISO of 64, and this is interesting because we'll look at this in a while. The focus distance when I focused at the clouds is 133 meters according to the EXIF and the camera. So this is what I set generally, and these are the shots I've gotten which are unprocessed here. These are all bracketed, reasonably sharp. For example, if I look at this one, and if we load this up as 1:1, as you can see it's pretty sharp all over and it's not been processed at all. There's nothing applied on this. So if I do a AI auto here, let's see what this, okay, not too bad but a bit too much. Now the interesting part about this shot is that there is absolutely no clipping, highlights or shadows, which means it is very possible to get a reasonable shot of the sun using just the gear you have. Now let's just go back for a while into the grid mode and take a look at the EXIF. Now the exposure bias in this, because I was using bracketing, is -1. This is one of the shots that I actually liked, just out of the camera types. So at a exposure bias of -1 means that we could actually open up wider or decrease the shutter speed, or maybe take the ISO down even further than the base native 64. And then of course, since I was late, this is all I got. Plenty of these shots. I still have to go through and cull them out. It was a very good experience, and while waiting for the sun to come back through the clouds, I also got this sunbird which was hiding for some strange reason, because they're generally at the top of trees, not in the shade. And of course my squirrels that just keep roaming around. Of course, now these, as you can see, are the pure sun. I did not realize the eclipse was over when I went to shoot these, but the interesting thing here is the focus distance. Although this looks okay, it is not. I probably, while trying to save my eye, touched the AF somewhere, and this is totally out of focus. So if you zoom into this, you can see it is out of focus. So these are all out of focus, and now we have a 133.35 again, because I used the same technique, focusing onto a patch of clouds which was easier to focus with using the autofocus. And yes, this is pretty sharp. We also have some kind of halo and rays going on here. Let's just do a auto. Not really the kind of auto I would want, so let's just reset that, and I can bring these down. Okay, it's fairly bright and light. So the eclipse was over, and this is a shot of the sun. This is a fun composite that I made. The sun shot in the background is from today. The moon itself is earlier, sometime this year, when it was a full moon. Since we could not actually see the full eclipse here, I thought it might be a good idea to just create one. I hope my settings and my experience helps. Have fun till the next one.